Don't you know, Sheila? Now there's a whole new obesity drug for those of us who can't afford Ozempic and Mounjaro. I've controlled all my cravings to be thinner with Lizzo.
Oh god, this is gonna be fun. You know, when it comes to stepping over the line on what we can and can't joke about, I don't think there's ever been a show to do it quite like good old South Park. The show's become infamous for not only being one of the longest running animated series in history, but also for having the reputation of nothing's off limits when it comes to comedy. From religion to disabilities and even real life people, South Park has never shied away from letting the audience know that everything is on the table. And while in its earlier days, many people just chalked South Park up as crude and offensive humor, I think in its later seasons, Matt and Trey really went down the social commentary through comedy route to shed light on important issues in society, even if they don't always hit the nail on its head. And man, they were not holding back in South Park's newest Paramount Plus special, because they just took shots at everyone from insurance companies to the American healthcare system to big sugar corporations, and probably the one that sparked the most conversation online, they sent shots at the singer Lizzo herself. So ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and grab yourself a cereal bomb as we get ready to go over South Park: The End of Obesity. But before we do that, a quick word from today's sponsor. Hey you, did you know that only 1.5% of y'all are actually subscribed to the channel? I know, that number makes me depressed too. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to help out the channel, and hit the noti bell to be notified when I upload my next vid. Okay, now let's get back to what you came here for. I can't lie, South Park: The End of Obesity was just a really good South Park special, and that's mainly because it's just a good story following our four boys. It feels like South Park, especially in these last couple seasons, has slipped the focus off of our main crew just a little bit in favor of other characters. But this special just had that good old South Park formula of Kyle and the boys trying to solve a world problem, with Cartman in the background just trying to take advantage of what they have going on. And of course, we get a hilarious side plot airing alongside throughout the special. The special starts off at the doctor's office with the doctor telling Cartman that he's really concerned about his health at his current weight. And of course, if you know Cartman, this is something that he struggled with throughout the entire series. But I can't lie, he hasn't done himself much favors when we literally have episodes of him bathing in KFC gravy. The doctor then suggests that Cartman starts taking semaglutide, a drug that's actually become really popular over the last couple years that was originally used for treating people with type 2 diabetes. But over time, people found out that it could also be used for weight loss. And when I say this drug became popular, I mean some of the most notable celebrities have openly spoke public about using this drug for weight loss. From Amy Schumer to Elon Musk to Oprah Winfrey, it was almost like taking this shot had become the new trend. Hell, if the warning message at the beginning of the special is anything to go by, even Trey Parker was taking the drug. Cartman gets really excited as he begins to fantasize about how great his life will be once he takes the shot and gets skinny. But unfortunately, Cartman's mom can't afford the medicine because it's not covered by their insurance, so instead of getting the weight loss drug, the doctor gives Cartman a lifetime prescription of Lizzo, because you know, in Cartman's words,
rich people get Ozempic, poor people get body positivity.
And I can't lie, the way the story's framed, it actually makes you feel sympathetic towards Cartman. Because from the outside looking in, this special is just a Cartman story about him wanting to get this weight loss drug so that he can actually be healthy and be happy with himself. But it's when you actually peel back his motivations that you realize Cartman does not actually care about being healthy. In fact, the only reason he wants to take this drug so bad in the first place is because he feels like if he was skinny, that when he makes fun of people, they wouldn't be able to have a comeback on him. Which is actually insane to me, because out of all the embarrassing moments Cartman's had throughout the series, I don't know why he thinks being fat is the only thing people can make fun of him for. And similar to many other episodes where Cartman had a self-serving motive, he gets someone to help him. This time being Kyle, who actually goes above and beyond for Cartman in this situation. And I think this actually speaks more towards Kyle's good nature and wanting to solve problems rather than Cartman just using him. Because through Kyle trying to help Cartman, the special actually shines a bright light on the many problems with the US healthcare system. The episode portrays the healthcare system as a giant maze that you have to fight over and over again just to get simple tasks done. From dealing with insurance companies relaying messages back to doctors, doctors having to follow back up with insurance companies, then insurance companies reaching out to pharmaceutical companies only for your doctor to reach back out to you and inform you that you've been denied and have to start the process all over again. The special really emphasizes that it shouldn't have to be all these obstacles in order for someone to get the medication that they need. And honestly, they shouldn't have to have all this determination in order to get things done.
I didn't realize I was dealing with someone who had so much determination.
It eventually gets so bad to the point that the boys just say forget the traditional route and decide to make the weight loss drug themselves, ordering semaglutide from India and making their own compound pharmacy in Kyle's garage, which surprisingly enough, through the power of YouTube and TikTok, it actually works. Kyle gives Cartman the homemade drug and it suppresses his appetite, causing him to lose 1 pound in a week. I also found it hilarious that the benchmark to see if the drug was working or not was Cartman checking to see if he could finish a cereal bomb, which is literally a bucket of KFC chicken with Captain Crunch and Cocoa Puffs poured on top. I don't know, it just feels like realistically he would have still been gaining more weight than he was losing. But nonetheless, once they realize that their homemade weight loss drug works, Kyle gets really excited as he not only wants to help Cartman, but he wants to help everyone in America who can't afford to buy semaglutide, putting out a message announcing that their compound pharmacy will be accepting orders and that they have affordable semaglutide. But this puts a target on all the boys' backs by all the major sugary cereal brands, because to them it's cool for rich people to get on semaglutide, but for their business to stay booming they need the average to lower income people to stay on body positivity or Lizzo, because if they have access to semaglutide their appetites will be suppressed like Cartman and they won't be eating cereal. And even though this plan is pretty evil to just keep people fat, they are correct because the special does show us what the average person in South Park is acting like on semaglutide. The side plot of the special followed our boy Randy. After Shelly walked out the house with a crop top on and Randy heavily disapproved, trying to embarrass her, Randy showed up to her school to pick her up wearing his own crop top. But hilariously enough, because of his crop top, Randy gets mistaken by one of the moms for being on semaglutide, because of course all the moms that are on semaglutide are wearing crop tops to show off their stomachs. Randy then gets invited to a party where all the moms are popping semaglutide, and Randy falls in love with the drug, not because it makes you lose weight, but because it doesn't give him any hangovers and it doesn't make him feel bad the next day. He then goes on a spree of semaglutide parties with the moms, and the whole time he just lies to Sharon about it, saying that he's in the gym doing Pilates. Randy and the moms end up partying so much that they end up running out of the drug. So in an attempt to get more, they end up going around South Park robbing different pharmacies. They even robbed the boys' pharmacy, taking Cartman's semaglutide dosage right out of his hand. And I think this was meant to be used as a critique for people who were taking semaglutide but didn't necessarily need it. Because while there were people with diabetes and people with severe weight issues that couldn't get access to the weight loss drug, there were many cases of people who weren't even fat or unhealthy but were using the drug as a way to shed that 5 extra pounds or just to maintain a slim look. We even see in this episode that all the moms that are obsessed with the drug don't even need to be taking it anymore. They're all already skinny and in great shape. And as for Randy, he's literally just taking the drug as a way to party. Eventually Cartman begins to freak out that his semaglutide is gone and he tries to relapse on an upgraded version of a cocoa bomb, which might I just say is disgusting. But Kyle tells him not to freak out because he ordered a new shipment of semaglutide and it'll be here soon. Unfortunately though, the truck gets stopped and hijacked by Randy and the moms. But realizing how bad the moms actually are, Randy starts the truck and speeds off, which starts a huge chase with the moms actually trying to kill him. He ends up losing the moms for a second and runs into the boys. And after the boys hop in, they end up getting chased by not only all the moms, but also all the cereal mascots from before. And the whole time this was happening, I was just thinking to myself, man, if you're Cartman, you're probably saying, bro, I gotta go through all this just to get some medicine? Eventually though, the boys and Randy survive the chase, but unfortunately when they check the back of the truck, there's no semaglutide on it, only the insurance man from the beginning of the episode. And once again he tells them that they'll get their medicine, but first they have to navigate the American healthcare system. And even though this wasn't really the outcome I was expecting, I think this was a good way to start the wrap up of this special, because it segued into 2 really good lessons. The first one, when Randy comes home, he walks in on Sharon getting ready to take the semaglutide, and after admitting that he's been lying about taking the drug and what he's been doing, he tells her that the semaglutide is a bad drug, or rather a bad drug for them, because they don't need to change and he doesn't want them to change. And I think this was a good way to point out the people who were using this drug but didn't really need it, because they'll be fine with or without it. We then cut to the boys at school and they're just kind of exhausted about the whole situation. And Kyle points out that sometimes willpower just isn't enough. When you have massive companies putting in millions of dollars to advertise unhealthy products to people, and a healthcare system that can be extremely hard to navigate, it's not always easy for people to be the healthiest. Kyle then rallies the school to ban making fun of obesity, which ironically, like I said in the beginning of the video, is all Cartman wanted. He then goes on a spree of making fun of everybody, booking a flight to Pakistan to make fun of the entire country. But all in all, I thought this was a solid South Park special. Nothing too crazy, but a good overall watch. And it has some solid social commentary, which I just love from South Park. But let me know, what did you think about South Park: The End of Obesity? Let me know in the comments below. Also, also make sure to like the video as it helps me and the channel out by pushing the content out to more people. And also let me know in the comments if you'd want to see me cover more South Park, as I'm currently branching out into more shows. And until then, it's been your boy Corn XV, and I'm off this.
Up in this 10 years old, turn on bus master like cold. Pull up in Rovers, it's over. Bitch, I'm cheese sauce, this cold. Llama, it can't want no host. Bottle, it can't let me pour. High as fun, just like a flow. Wanna glow, let me show you.